Well, when I was 4, we had opening ceremonies before we had Sunday school class. And they always sang the same song on Sunday morning because they liked to hear me sing Fishers of Men. I will make you fishers of men if you fall over me, if you fall over me, if you fall over me. And I guess that is what witnessing is telling our stories of how we follow or fall over God in our lives. It is my belief that every person bears witness each minute of the day by deeds, attitude, shared stories, the capacity for love or hate, dreams and body language. Our witness is who we are. In 5 minutes, I cannot give witness to the total package that makes me who I am spiritually. The metal and marshmallow of me is as complex as your witness. I have chosen one lesson in learning that changed the way I view love. As most of you know, my late husband died of Alzheimer's, as did my mother, and my favorite aunt, and my former mother-in-law. And I cared for George for 17 years, and my mother was in my home for 3 years. I am going to read a portion of a poem I wrote when I was having a bad day, when my late husband was in the mid-stages of Alzheimer's. And the poem's title is The Caretaker. The monster Alzheimer's slithered lazily into our home, sat unfed during the long winter, watched his victim through half-closed eyes, stroked his fears with his tongue. The delusions began, memory lessened. My love inched away from me and sat on the monster's back. Then the feeding, slowly at first, I saw him slip inside the monster's jaws. I screamed, "Do not leave me." He told monster tales, his parents sleeping in our home, the return of children and voices speaking from empty rooms. I watched him struggle against the monster's clenched jaws, the possession complete, death so far away. Swallowed whole, his bulk swelled the belly of the disease. I cared for the disease, loved and stroked the lump which represented my husband. I tended the pain and endured the ranting. I laid beside the monster at night and awakened to confusion in the wee hours of the morning. I forgot who I am. Surely this is so because I once knew words, and words are who I am. That was a bad day. Like many caregivers in this modern era, I went to the internet for chat room support. And one lady said every night, this is a spiritual experience. Come on, how could anything so horrid and all-consuming be spiritual? When I moved beyond my feelings in the poem and looked at what I had to learn from Alzheimer's, I began a wonderful journey into a new understanding of love. George was going backwards through the children's developmental chart. He had the abilities and understanding of a tiered 10-year-old, 8-year-old, 6, 4, 2-year-old, and finally this last Christmas he was crawling on the floor with my nieces and nephews, playing with shoes and wrapping paper. The only way to love George fully and unconditionally was to grieve the loss of the adult I married, then the 10-year-old, the 8, the 4, the 2-year-old. After I grieved each loss, I was free to fall in love again and again and again with the new person at the latest Alzheimer's level. This new love was to know how to love in the moment, make no demands for affection in return, or have the expectation of gratitude for the gifts of caregiving. It is how we are to give Christian love to our neighbors, strangers, and most of all, our family members. A fellow giver argued with me about the title of my poem, The Caretaker. She said, I give, I am a caregiver! Exclamation point. I thought about that and decided I took so much from my experiences. George taught me one final lesson through his Alzheimer's, a new dimension in love. For that, I will always feel blessed. Yes, it was a spiritual journey. Once I recognized I could not do it all alone. One of those moments in humility when aloneness and fragility surface, a God-evoking, God-empowering, God-embracing time to let go and let God. Amen.